how valuable he is to QPR and
Yeah.
why his stock is rising. And if they go down, he's not staying with them.
No.
And then Harry's second goal.
Ah.
What did we all say when he scored that?
Well, I ran up to you. I said, "Does that kind of remind you of that famous Hoddle goal where he just kind of jimmies around the keeper a little bit?" And then
To a little bit, but my first thought was he's going to go tell Bobby that's how you do it.
Yeah, that was the exact same situation, just the other side. I mean, it really was.
Yeah, but he did the fake and took it around the keeper. That
yes,
is the quality mark of a striker.
And let me kick off something here, because he's an incredibly intelligent player. He hasn't been blessed with, blazing speed. He's an incredibly intelligent player, right? And one thing that I picked up on that goal, who was beside him?
Mason, wasn't it?
And he was offside, and he could never have passed him ever at any point in that in that play, right? Because he was completely offside. So, and it was strange. I haven't gone back and looked at it. I haven't seen the recording, and the sun was blinding. I'm not sure it was in that end.
The beer was blinding.
The beer was blinding, for sure. But I think he recognized very quickly that he was the only player that could have been involved in that play. And I think he almost kind of waved off Mason, and it was brilliant. Just cool, calm, and it speaks to the fact that Soldado's just completely lost his way. Because a good striker does exactly what Kane does. He knows, but it was just, I think it just spoke very well to the fact he's a Teddy Sheringham-like player. He's not blessed with, all these incredible talents. He's got guile, he's clever, he understands
his pace has gotten better through the season.
And he's strong. He's a strong lad. He shields the ball.
I think he knows that is his growth area. It's his pace, and I've noticed that he's gotten a little quicker as the season has progressed. Maybe that's having that continued run in the team, but there was one match, I don't remember where it was, where he seemed gassed, and his pace just disappeared.
Well, he takes great lines to balls, which great strikers do that aren't gifted, with. But like Berbatov, he was the same way. Just knew how to get into space, knew how to cut distances, and he's beyond his years.
So before. Since we're in the Harry Kane before we went on air, we did some anoracking and trying to figure out. We know he's got a very good chance of cracking 20 league goals and 30 goals in total, certainly if he keeps up this clip. So he's on 26 total goals, 16 in the league, is that correct?
Correct.
That's what we said?
Yep.
So we kind of went back to see the last time we had anyone who scored 20 league goals, and did I say that was Defoe in 2009, 2010?
You did, Chairman? You did?
Yeah, no. Well, actually, no. Defoe had 24 in total.
I thought it was 20.
Actually, Bale in his last season scored 21 in the league.
Yeah.
And I think that was our last 20 league goal scorer for quite some time. We even went back to look at the Klinsmann era. He did score 20. And then before that, it's actually pre-Premier League. A certain match of the day presenter, Mr. Lineker, scored 28.
In that year that Bale scored 21, what was his total for the season? 29?
I think it was 24, if I'm not mistaken.
And Kane's total for the season right now is
26.
So he's already surpassed that, and he's only 5 behind the league top.
Actually, no, sorry, I stand corrected. Bale did get 26, so he has tied Bale.
Okay.
From the 2012-13 season.
And he's only 5 behind him in the league, and he really didn't get a full run in this squad until about the 8th, 9th, 10th week of the season.
He's in third place in the league behind Aguero and Costa. And they've had an 8-game head start against him.
Yeah, and in total goals,
remarkable.
He has the most in all divisions. I think he's tied with somebody else.
He's only seconded to, I think, Leo Messi for the year. That's how ridiculous his year has been.
So he's got 10 games left, and let's say he gets 8 goals. So it'll be 24 league goals, 34 total. That's pretty impressive, because that season that Lineker got, was it 28 in the league, I said, he got 35 in total, which I think that's the last time anyone got 30 goals for us, if I'm not wrong.
Klinsmann had 29, 93, 94?
94, 95. Klinsmann at 29, yeah. So he's going to put his name up in lights, and it'll be the first academy player to have led the scoring table for the season since Mark Falco, which was 84-85. He had 29 goals total, 22 in the league. I'll take my anorak off now.
God, you are something. You.
And the funny thing is, most of that is really without. We've seen it a little bit lately. Bentaleb, Rose, even Townsend, a little bit lately. But early in the year, there was no delivery of service into the box.
Not the most creative of
on his own.
Yeah, not the most creative of midfield. That's for midfield. That's for sure.
Unbelievable what he's doing.
So if we've proved that Townsend to Kane today, Bentaleb in the North London derby, if we can get those crosses in, Harry's going to be fighting for that.
Yeah.
You would think our centre backs would be as well on dead ball situations like that, and that's where I think we'd really want to see some more output. But if Harry's doing it, sign me up all day long.
Yeah. No kidding.
I love that.
And it was funny. I don't want to switch gears, but we talked a little bit in the pub. We had a little halftime discussion about Lloris. I kind of got dragged into it.
You're going to bring this up. I was upset.
This is so good.
Brilliant. This is great.
We were kind of talking about, and nobody get pissed off. This is not what we want, but we started talking about, what if Lloris? How much would you sell Lloris for? Don't be a muppet and say, "Oh, I wouldn't sell him at all ever." It was going to be 28 this year. If he's already turned 28. There comes a point, and there is going to come a point. Maybe it's the end of his contract. Keepers, look, they can go till they're 35, 36 years old and still be world class. And Hugo Lloris, barring injury, will be that. But I asked the question. A lot of people were saying 40, and one guy said nope, 50. And then he made that save in the second half. Someone said 60, but that was after our halftime discussion. Yeah. And I said, listen, if you could sell Hugo Lloris for 50 million quid and get Petr Cech for 15, would you? That's 35 million profit, which is probably more than you would pay for any other keeper, bar Neuer and Courtois. And now you have that money in your coffers. I said last week, I think we're a world-class winger away. I think we need some defensive help too. I really do on the back line. But I think it's more of a product of the system we play right now, and the players are still adapting. Would you do that? And I didn't say yes or no. I just posed the question because I really don't want to lose Lloris. I really do not want to sell him. I really do. Listen, I'm on the board. I don't want Levy on the board to sell him, even if it means gross product for the club. And when you're in stadium building mode, isn't that really what it's all about? And then I think Simon had said I would rather get, who was it?
Oh no, somebody said the keeper at Palace for 5. Or 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah, Speroni for 5. You may as well do that and make 45 mil profit.
Take a step back and think about why that's such a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, with our defending the way it is, I don't think I'm remembering back. Swansea, Southampton didn't have these problems under Pochettino. I really think it's a personnel issue, and once he really gets his people in, I think Dyer is going to be a mainstay. Unless that kid gets hurt, I don't see him coming out of the starting lineup. Is Vertonghen the answer? At times I almost think he's the weak link. And Walker really makes me scratch my head sometimes. I love him to death. I love the fact that he's Spurs and he will bleed the colors, and he would be just as pissed off as probably Aaron Lennon was when he got told he had to go. But if there's somebody that maybe comes in at right back and pushes him a little bit, like Davis did with Rose, and you see what we're getting out of Rose, we talked earlier, he's playing out of his skin. Danny Rose.
We've said it before.
What if Walker was playing like that? How good would our wingbacks be? And now we're almost a center back and a world-class winger away. But I digress. If you have the opportunity to sell Lloris, to stockpile money for the midfield / stadium, do you do that?
Well, okay, we've said this before. If we'd score more goals, these we wouldn't be talking about our back four as much as we do. I think a lot of teams would take our back four gladly, and even some of our supporters supporting back four players. But it was an amazing question, and it really was. And one of the reasons why it's such an amazing question, because if you take away Harry Kane, without question, Lloris has been our best player this year, and you could argue that maybe he's even been our best player in spite of what in addition to or in spite of what Harry Kane has done. But there is a price. And he's a 28-year-old player. And the fact that one of the teams that could use a Hugo Lloris because it would be an upgrade, because it would be a perfect fit, and because they've got truckloads of money, is PSG.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the world record is for a goalkeeper. I would think it's probably about, what, 30 million? 30, 40?
Maybe.
Yeah. But
what did Ter Stegen go for last year when he went to Barca? That
wasn't that much. It was a steal.
I was really taken aback by that price.
He's a great keeper. I don't know how they got him that cheap, but historically speaking, I mean, keepers haven't, like, if Neuer were to be on the transfer market, we'd never leave Bayern. But if he was, I mean, he would be a record. But you kind of, when sometimes buying and selling players with guys that have just tremendous amounts of money is about just kind of slapping their willies on the table. It wouldn't be out of the question for an outrageous fee for a keeper. And someone in the pub said today, I'd sell him for less. I'd sell him for 40. And
he was beaten into a bloody mess.
If you could buy Petr Cech for 15 and net 25 million, as much as I love Lloris, I think he's absolutely untradeable almost. But in the grand scheme of transfer fees for keepers and a 28-year-old keeper, within the context of picking up a guy like Cech, who has such incredible experience, who's still a terrific keeper, and being 35 as a keeper is not the kiss of death. Or how old is? No, I don't think he's that old. He's like 30. No. Talk about Cech. 32, 33?
I think he's 33.
I don't know.
I think I've seen that.
I wouldn't. But then maybe I'd just say no, don't do it because we'd still be the selling club. But I don't know. It's not out of the question. Wouldn't be terrible.
It was one of those questions that was very good for debate, and obviously will either get slammed or praised for it when people listen to this. At the end of the day, we would certainly not want to sell Lloris or part with him because he has been so pivotal to this season in particular.
He's 32, Petr Cech.
I want to name my next son Hugo.
No one's going to give us 50 for him. However, if that was to happen, you got to be business savvy about something like that. You can do a lot with 50 and get a pretty world-class keeper.
Yeah, PSG
I think that was the point of that little discussion and why you brought
it. Was fun. It's not gonna
no. I mean, PSG, they're struggling a little bit this year. Sirigu is their goalkeeper. He's the backup to Buffon in Italy on their national team, and is
he though?
Yeah.
I think he's the number one now.
Because Buffon's played his last World Cup. I don't know if he's actually fully retired from the national team. Okay. We'll find out. I mean, he may.
That's right, because they play England coming up.
Yeah, I mean they have the Euros, so he may stick around through the Euros, but I definitely don't think Buffon will be around or Pirlo for the next World Cup.
It was a great question, Kenny. It was a really fun question.
I just thought, because there were about 6 or 7 of us in a circle having this great discussion. I thought it was really fun.
It was good banter
anyway,
for sure. He's probably worth 30 easy. He's probably worth 30. And that would be the only price I think that where anybody at the club would entertain selling him.
If somebody came in at 30 though, if I'm leaving, I'd tell him to go fuck.
I would tell him no. I would tell him no.
Absolutely.
But that's crazy. That shows you how good he is.
Yeah, and what he means to this club. For as good as Harry has been, and let's say the season ended today at 28 games. Who's your player of the year? Is it Harry or is it Lloris?
Harry.
It's interesting because one of the things we want to do is...
And you'd probably sell him for twice what you'd sell Lloris at this point.
One of the things we talked about as a supporters club was, because we're going over at the end of the season, we should have the opportunity to present our player of the season. We didn't do it last year, but it's something that we have an opportunity to do in person. Hopefully when I talk to the people at the supporters clubs, we'll have that opportunity. And at the beginning of the season when I tossed that idea out, we had a little bit of promise from Eriksen, but it was really just Hugo who stood head and shoulders above everybody else, especially when we were in that slump where we'd lost at home to Newcastle and Stoke, and we'd really kind of lost our groove. And then Eriksen was stepping it up, and then Harry Kane, which we know what he was doing in the cups, came along, and I really don't think we've looked back since. So for me, if the season ended today, or even if he went off the boil a little bit in the last 10, God forbid, I would still pick Harry Kane. It's a success story. It's Roy the Rover stuff.
Yeah. Local boy done good.
Yeah.
You gotta love that.
I think even some of the most knowledgeable and insiders of insiders never in their wildest dreams could have written this story.
Right. I mean, we saw promise at the end of the season where he was chipping in with some goals, but
come on,
we knew that he needed to get bedded in properly, and